Hey guys, this is Mr. Sal. I've had a couple questions on area of composite shapes, specifically for rectangles. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Alright, so this was an example sent in by a student who was struggling a little bit to find the area of this shape. So we're really just looking to find the area of just this red shaded area like this right here. But what we're going to do is we're going to do it two different ways, and there's really three different ways, but two of them are kind of the same. What I'm going to do just to start out is I'm going to cut this rectangle into two separate rectangles. So I have kind of this purple one right here, then I've also got this red one right here. Now those aren't completely the dimensions. The purple one is dimensioned off very well. So what that means is this side would still be 12 yards and this one's 2 yards, but for the red one, if we separate it up here like this, this side still is 3 yards, and we need that for the length and width, but this length right here is not 11 yards anymore because we took the 2 yards off right here from the 11. So all that would remain of the 11 yards would be 11 minus 2, which would be 9 yards right here. So I need to find the area of these two rectangles and then add those two areas together. So let's start with the red one. So that's a 9 yard by 3 yard rectangle, and 9 times 3 is 27. So that would be 27 square yards. And then the purple one is a 12 by 2 yard rectangle, and that would give us 24 square yards. So we're just going to take those two values and add them together. So I'll bring the values together. And of course we're adding these two, which would give us the area of that whole shape. And what do we get out of that? There's 1, 11, carry the 1, so 51 square yards for the area of this composite shape right here. But there is a different way to do this. Let's look at that now. Now before we start this example though, remember if you prefer this method, then don't worry about what we're going to look at next, even though we have a different example coming up. But if you like the other method, then ignore this one and then just do these other ones the same way, as long as we're dealing with rectangles like this. So the other way to do it is to take this whole shape, and what I'm doing from here is I've kind of outlined what would be a bigger rectangle. So I kind of have this rectangle here. However, when we look at it, this part of the rectangle doesn't exist right here. So if I treat the purple one as a large rectangle, so again we can draw that separately like this, then it's a 12 yard by 11 yard rectangle. Now if I wanted the area of that one, I would take 11 and multiply it by the 12, and I would get 132 square yards of that rectangle. Now remember, that's considering this whole rectangle that we started with as a full rectangle. However, it's missing this part right here. So we need to figure out what the dimensions of that red rectangle are. Now we kind of did that in the last one. We know that the whole length in purple here is 11 yards, but we're cutting off the 2 yards here, which would make this side 9 yards. So that would be 9 yards on this rectangle also. And it's the same thing with this other length. The whole length is 12 yards, but we're cutting off the 3 yards there. So this length right here would be 12 minus 3, which is also 9 yards. So that's another side length of 9 yards. So if I wanted the area of it, I would do 9 times 9, which is 81 square yards. However, again, we've taken this red rectangle and it's already added to that 132. So when I look at this square, I've got to take it off of the 132. So I've got to subtract that 81 right there, which gives me the area of just what would have been this part of the shape in green there. So what is that? 113 minus 85, 51 square yards, and that's what we got in that the last method that we used as well. Now that second method, it works, but most people prefer the first one, so that's what I'm going to just use on this one, just to re-illustrate what we're doing, right? So we have this shape, and one thing we may want to do is just find these missing side links, like this one and this one. So if we look at the vertical values, we're looking kind of at this green side right here, right? Now the whole red side there would be made up of the green side and also the orange side. Now the thing is, we know the orange length right there is 3. So if we consider the green side, the orange and the green have to make up 8 centimeters. So we're just going to take the 3 off of the 8, and we see that the green one would be 5 centimeters. Now we can do the same thing with the blue side also. The full length here on this one is 10, but then it's been split up into the blue side, and then also this turquoise side right here, right? Now the turquoise part we know is 4 centimeters. So if we wanted just to find the length of that blue one, we'd take the 10 centimeters, which is the whole length of the side, and subtract that turquoise part, which would then give us a 6 centimeter length. Now we may not need both of these, or we may just need one of them. It won't matter in the end, but it may just be helpful for us to consider what these values are. So when we split this thing up, we know what values we need to look for. So we need to cut up this shape into 2 separate rectangles. That's what I'm going to do now. And we'll be using the same colors. I'm going to split it up right here. So that gives me this purple shape. And then also I have this other rectangle right here, which I'm going to split up into red. So I've separated these off just so we can see the values. And we know that this length is 3 centimeters here. And then that top length of the purple one it remains at 10 centimeters. We didn't break that up at all. And then on the red one, we have the bottom length, which we already know is 4 centimeters because we didn't break that up. And then because we've already figured out this side length that was in blue, that one is 5 centimeters there. So we want the area of the purple one, and that would be a 10 by 3 rectangle. So I'm going to multiply these, and I get 30 square centimeters. For the red one, we have an area that's a 5 by 4 rectangle, which would be 20 square centimeters. Then I just need to add these. I've got the 30 square centimeters and the 20 square centimeters. When I add these two together, I get the full area of the shape that we started with, which would have been 50 square centimeters. And that would be our answer right there. Alright guys, that's about it for this video. We just looked at 2 examples where 2 rectangles have been pushed together which make a composite shape, specifically with rectangles. So if it was helpful for you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then just make a comment below. Thanks you guys, have a good one.